Welcome to a progress update for Axies Ventures. My name is Jason Germiquet, the Managing Director for Axies. I've joined the company recently and will be running through some important updates of our activities over the past 3 to 4 months. Please be aware that some of the information displayed and presented during this presentation do include forward-looking statements. The figures are our best estimates based on our most recent exploration activities. Please be aware that the information may be subject to change as we further enhance our knowledge. Axies Ventures is primarily a copper and gold exploration company established in 2021. We have properties in 2 jurisdictions, Cyprus and Canada, and largely greenfield properties. We do have a historic mine site in the way of North Matiatas, which gives us optionality and potential surface extraction in a shorter time period. I'd like to give an overview of our operations and technical leadership team. I've had over 15 years experience within mining in Southern Africa and West Africa. I've been involved in projects ranging from small-scale mining to large open pits and exploration within platinum, PGEs, gold, iron ore, and base metals. I have degrees both in geology and mining engineering and remain a registered professional geologist. I worked with Heinrich Müller at Anglo Platinum, where we were both bursary holders through their bursary scheme. He remains as our technical director. He comes with a wealth of experience from international involvement in resource geology, project management, operations throughout the international mining scene. His background working for private and listed companies, both in the commissioning of new mines as well as in-depth exploration work across commodities, is invaluable to Axies, and we look forward to working together into the future. Eugenia Gabriel is our in-country manager within Cyprus. She comes with 20 years experience in managing exploration projects in the region. Her insights into the local geology, her relationships with the local authorities and landowners within the areas that we work are a great support for our current and future activities within Cyprus. I believe it's very important to highlight some of the strengths that Axies Ventures holds in a strategic manner within Cyprus and Canada. Both these jurisdictions offer us a very stable and mining-friendly environment with access to logistics and other services, including infrastructure, electricity, and ports. Our tenements range from early-stage greenfields properties all the way to the historic North Matiatas pit and dumps, which give us an option and potential to reprocess and mine residual in situ ore. We have a very strong technical team. We're fully funded into 2024 and 2025 within Canada and Cyprus for our next phase of exploration. We do maintain a strong track record of stepwise data-driven and science-led decision-making within our exploration activities. We remain strict on our budget allocation. 2 positive developments over the last year come into play with us, and we are positioned to take advantage of these 2 aspects in particular. One is the historic highs in both copper and gold prices that the market is experiencing recently based on supply shortage and increasing demand across industries, in particular the technological and EV markets. The second is that the European Union has just published the European Critical Raw Materials Act in April 2024, which seeks to stabilize and secure the supply of critical raw minerals within the EU jurisdiction. This puts Cyprus at a key location, and with its long history of copper mining in particular, we look to take full advantage of these regulatory changes, which we find will be very beneficial to the funding and operations of a future mine within Cyprus. Lastly, we maintain positive relationships with local authorities, landowners, and universities, particularly in Cyprus, led by Eugenia. These relationships will be key to the continued success of our operations and activities as we progress with our exploration and tenement growth. Within Cyprus, we continue fieldwork, both mapping and sampling within our tenements. We completed a sampling campaign within the Lithrodontis extension, where we're currently waiting for the assay results. This will fall on the back of the successful drilling campaign during 2023, where we identified a large sulfidic body subsurface. We continue with the digitization of our field mapping activities. We continue to analyze and assess historic data within the region and incorporate this into our further exploration model and understanding of deposit geomorphology and structural controls thereon. We have put 2 more applications in for 2 properties on the very prospective strike continuations and structural corridors, which we've identified previously within our tenements. These are the Chakalina and Laya prospects, and they are currently waiting for approval, which we expect in the next few months. And lastly, we're positioning ourselves to make full benefit of the upcoming EU Critical Raw Materials Act. We expect interest in Cyprus and across the EU to increase, and Axies holds a very strong position within Cyprus in particular, based on previous years of work and interaction relationship building with the local authorities and landowners. Within Canada, we're very excited to announce that we've added 30 more cells to the Germiquet Lake prospect. This adds an additional 6 square kilometers along a identified mineralized corridor, which extends from the previous primary Germiquet property along towards the west into the added claims. We've completed a reconnaissance phase 1 exploration program at our other claims, Black Township, Racky Lake, and Powerline and Morley. We're awaiting the final assay results with over 100 rock samples taken during that campaign. We are currently defining the phase 2 exploration work with the OJEP funding application in play. Lastly, Ontario was voted within the top 10 of the most attractive mining jurisdictions in the world. This is based on the Fraser Institute annual survey during 2023. This adds even more positive emphasis onto the fact that both Canada and Cyprus remain highly attractive to further exploration and mining into the future. Now, looking back across to Cyprus, as mentioned, we've added a new claim to our portfolio in the way of Chakalina, which is awaiting approval we expect in the next few months. Also not shown on this map at this time is a very recent application for a property named Laya in the south, just to the southwest of Cofino. All our properties have gossan at surface and indications of mineralization across them and adjoining between the boundaries in the case of Lithrodontis and Cocchino and Tonis. A structural corridor which extends towards the northwest from the North Matiatis pit into Chakalina. Shah North, to the west of North Matiatis, has 2 gossan outcroppings which remain open as subsurface and remains part of our priority for drilling campaign in the later half of 2024. Cocchino Vrisi and Cofino remain greenfields. We have done soil sampling in Cofino and remain to apply field work and sampling at Cofino Vrisi. Both these prospects have gossan at surface and remain open to further field work and mapping, which is very exciting as this portfolio within Cyprus covers early stage greenfields all the way to the historic mine at Cocchino and Tonis. Cocchino and Tonis will be a focal point going into the rest of 2024. There is visible sulfide mineralization and stockwork veining within the bottom of the pit and up the sidewall. There remains a large amount of ore available in situ within the high walls and subsurface of the pit, We expect that to be in the region of 600,000 tons of economic ore. In addition, we will initiate an assessment of the dump material around the upper edge of the pit with a grid sampling campaign and a survey of the volumetrics. This pit in particular offers us an amazing opportunity for early access to ore material and opens up the opportunity of strategic partnerships with local processors, or indeed the opportunity for us to build a small-scale mining operation and retreatment plant. If we look at the permit and geological map, the historic pit and dump material are situated within the center of the permit. So shown on the map are the results from rock sampling activities during 2023, with results between 4 and 1 gram per ton gold equivalent. The exciting aspect of this particular project is that there is an identified structural corridor running northwest southeast with the possibility of satellite deposits and the extension of the current deposit beneath the pit, remaining opportunities for us to further investigate. At our Shah North property to the east of Kokino and Tunis, we've had historic results of 12 grams per ton gold and upwards of 50 grams per ton silver in a grab sample. This was taken from gossinous material at the bottom of a well, and we seek to validate this through a drilling campaign later this year. There are 2 gossin outcrops on this property, and they remain open subsurface, and we remain highly encouraged by the historic data and the economic grades that have already been received from these properties. Moving over to Canada, we maintain our position with 4 claims, being Pauline and Morley, Black Township, Germiquet, and Racky Lake. All these permits reside on Archean setting with related and subsequent metavolcanics and metasediments, including quartz veining and iron formation. Copper, gold, zinc, and possibly uranium, as well as PGEs, are all being explored for within our tenements, and we remain encouraged by the recent results from the Germiquet reconnaissance phase, which concluded in September 2023, and we have subsequently concluded a reconnaissance phase 1 at the other properties, that being Black Township, Racky Lake, and Pauline and Morley. The Germiquet claim is our largest in Canada, with the reconnaissance phase 1 having concluded in September 2023. This included rock and soil sampling, which identified an 800-meter anomalous copper trend. This trend continued into an adjacent area where we put a claim in and were approved for an additional 6 square kilometers of additional land. This amounts to 30 cells. These positive results warrant follow-up within 2024, which will include mapping, the analysis of historic data, and continued rock and soil sampling along that corridor. In May 2024, we concluded a reconnaissance phase 1 exploration program at the Black Township, Racky Lake, and Pauline and Morley properties. Over 100 samples were taken at these properties, and we are currently waiting for the complete assay results. Initial indications are that multiple instances and continuation of quartz veining and iron formations across these properties, historic trenching and other workings were also identified. Once the assay results have been received within the next few weeks, we will start to plan the rest of the 2024 campaign and prioritize across these properties to ensure that we follow the most promising aspects of the geological results. Anomalous gold has been identified on these properties, as well as a reasonable percentage of chalcopyrite and pyrite. At the Black Township property, the geologists identified locally sheared quartz veining and mineralized gabbro and mafic volcanics. These were sampled with 32 grab samples taken. Trace elements and platinum palladium analysis are pending, and in-depth historical data compilation is our next step within this property to then support our next planned phase of activity. At Rocky Lake, where we are targeting copper and gold within the 600 hectare claim, the geologists were successful in locating a chalcopyrite bearing quartz vein, which was 4 meters wide. This was spotted in a few locations. 21 grab samples were collected from these quartz veins, with follow-ups after the assay results are received, being more detailed mapping and additional sampling along these veins. Our team took 34 grab samples from the Powerline Morley claim. This claim was surrounded by past producing gold mines within just a few kilometers. Previous and historic records show that up to 4 grams per ton gold over 7 meters were obtained in the iron formations on this property. We await the assay results from the most recent grab samples. We're encouraged by all the results so far from the preliminary assessments and reports from our geological team as we await the full assay results from this campaign. This will guide us in the next steps throughout those claims in Canada for the rest of 2024 as we define the targeted areas into a possible drilling campaign into 2025. Axies Ventures is moving towards IPO in the later part of 2024. Our primary focus remains on Cyprus and the promising permits that we have under our portfolio currently. The low-cost environment as well as the historic mining activity in the area places us at a very good position to take advantage of the upcoming European Union regulations. We will continue to monitor third-party activity in adjoining properties within Cyprus and Canada and ensure that we are positioned correctly as part of a risk mitigation strategy as well as being able to take full advantage of new opportunities as they arise. Our fundraising target will be in the region of £3 million, which provides sufficient working capital into 2025. As I previously stated, we remain fully funded for the rest of 2024 exploration activities, and the IPO also assures us that we maintain our EIS and VTC qualification, which is a massive benefit to our current and future shareholders. Now, to summarize our outlook for Cyprus and Canada and our activities therein, both these jurisdictions and our permits offer a large treasure trove of historic data, which our teams have been assessing and analyzing and incorporating into our exploration model. This will continue throughout 2024, which includes a digitization of historic maps and incorporation of those into our current models. Field mapping and reconnaissance sampling will continue in Cyprus, including the planning of Phase 1 drilling at Kokino and Tonis. Post-IPO, we'll be planning the first phase of drilling at Shah North and extend the drilling at the Kokino and Tonis dumps and pit into Phase 2. We'll continue to expand our permit footprint based on the corridors, structural trends that we have already identified within the region, and then start to incorporate remote sensing and geophysics, especially at our greenfields properties. In Canada, and on the back of the completion of our Phase 1 exploration program at all our properties, we will then design and implement the next phase of sampling mapping and include an extensive historical data compilation and assessment to guide us with the next phase of interpretation and targeting of the mineralized zones and extensions within these properties. We are indeed encouraged by the economic grades of copper within the Germiquet Lake property, which will then form our priority for Canada into the Phase 2 program and define then the drilling campaigns that we would plan within 2025. To conclude this presentation, I would like to re-emphasize the fact that we are fully financed currently for the next stage of exploration work for 2024. Our technical and commercial growth strategy remains in play, where we are incorporating opportunities in the form of permits and applications and extensions based on our geological knowledge and the opportunities that present themselves. We've established a very skilled and experienced technical team with insights within exploration up to and including production within open cast and underground mines, and supported by local geologists in the form of Evgenia and her wider team. Our properties range from early stage greenfields to historic pits, which position us very uniquely and neatly into taking full advantage of the upcoming EU regulations, which we see as incredibly encouraging for mining within the EU, and Cyprus being a fundamental part of that picture into the future with its rich gold and copper mining history, into which Axies Ventures is very well positioned within that location in particular. That concludes the progress report for the first quarter of 2024. We'll be posting updates of our activity and exploration work on social media channels where you can keep abreast of the activities of Axies Ventures into the future.